Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Basketball Conference, the ACC football podcast. My name's Joey Weaver. He's Mike McDaniel. Mike, week 9 is upon us. We got some games to talk about. You ready?
Favorite show of the week.
This is a good one. This is a fun one. Thursday night this week, we had to push back a day. We just all had stuff going on last night. So good to be back. YouTube.com/@the-ACC football podcast. We are live. It is about 10:45 Eastern on the East Coast.
On time, baby.
You will note that we were 30 seconds early, in fact, this week. So that's only possible. Yeah, that's only possible when producer Scott is in the building. Producer Scott, how we doing?
We're doing well. No one knows really the background of how we do these shows, but tonight I did it all.
He did.
He did. Yeah, he did. He usually does. He does most of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
Mike does nothing, for those that are wondering.
Absolutely nothing.
Producer Scott carrying the water.
Timestamps
for us.
Scott, I do timestamps when you're absent.
Yeah.
That's what I will take credit for. Timestamps. That's about it.
I need to get the world's smallest violin.
As mentioned, we're live, youtube.com/@the-ACC football podcast. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Shout out to the people in the chat that are with us here already tonight. We got Volusia's Orange and Will Secor with us. Will Secor dropping in some Paul Heyman bars and then asking about Georgia Tech's sweet white block T helmets that they're going to wear this weekend. A, absolutely gorgeous. B, yeah, we'll talk some more about that maybe when we get into that game here in a little while. Again, hit the subscribe button. We'd appreciate that. Aiming for 1,000 subscribers. We are up to 653. So appreciate the people who have been helping us out with that.
Hit the like button too. That's cool. Mm-hmm. That helps. Also, all the comments. The recap from last week was popping off in the comments.
That's
Some
right.
Good. A lot really aggressive. Even Chris Gronin told everyone that they were being aggressive. Thank you, Chris.
Looking out for us.
But keep commenting. Keep liking. It helps the show grow. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, very active and engaged set of people watching the recap show. So appreciate the people for paying attention and for engaging with us and letting us know where they agree but mostly disagree with us. As there were a few people that took issue with what we said about Georgia Tech in particular. But, I'm sure it'll be very different tonight.
I wouldn't count on it.
Mike, Scott, anything else before we get into a Rhoback Lookback at week 8?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. As a reminder, use promo code GOACC20 at checkout for 20% off your first order at Rhoback.com for all sorts of wonderful athleisure wear, t-shirts, polos, hoodies, quarter zips. 'Tis the season for those. Joggers, shorts, all sorts of great things. Mike, I can see you are wearing the Barstool Golf Rhoback hoodie right now. Looks comfy.
One of the most comfortable pieces of clothing I own.
Yeah. They're all high quality. Good stuff from Rhoback.com. Use promo code GOACC20 at checkout for 20% off your first order. Good to move on to a Rhoback Lookback here.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. A couple things wanted to follow up on in realizing that we did an hour and 45 plus on the recap and still some things that kind of got left out.
Tidy.
Yeah. Wanted to go back to Louisville, Miami. One of the things that just completely we whiffed on mentioning was the fact that there was a trophy for this game. Did you know that, Mike?
No.
It's the Howard Schnellenberger trophy.
Oh.
And it's a pair of his signature cowboy boots. Howard Schnellenberger, a legendary college football coach.
Say that 10 times fast.
Howard Schnellenberger. That's not going to go well. He was head coach at both Louisville and Miami over the years. The story would tell you basically that Louisville was about to drop football, and then Howard Schnellenberger took over as head coach there and kind of revived the program. I believe it was maybe in the late 70s, early 80s. But a famous and beloved college football coach who, by all means, should be a Hall of Famer, if not for some nonsense red tape and the rules that say that you have to be, what was there's like a 650 winning percentage or something. And I think he technically had a losing winning percentage, but that was because he took over some absolute like dumpster programs at times and built them into decency, but it took a while to get there every time. So
if we're waving it for Leach, we should wave it for Schnellenberger.
Absolutely. Should be a Hall of Famer. So Louisville takes home the Schnellenberger trophy and those beautiful bronze boots that sit on top of it. Those are his signature cowboy boots that are on there. Also wanted to bring up, and we talked about Ron English calling a great game for Louisville on defense in that game, but did just want to call out the very final play where they got the interception off of Carson Beck was, I thought, brilliant, because again, they loaded up the box. I think they had 7 guys basically pointed right at Carson Beck like they were going to blitz. 6 of them did blitz, but they had one that ran basically across the formation and ends up making that pick. So again, they showed blitz. They mostly brought it, but ended up getting someone in position to take advantage of Beck going to his hot route there. Beck, of course, also made some comments that sounded at least a little bit like throwing his receiver under the bus for, running the wrong route. Maybe it was just a miscommunication, whatever we want to call it. But just wanted to call that out. Ron English with a brilliant play call there to end that game.
And one of Carson Beck's 4 mistakes.
Yeah. Even more than that if you count ones that got undone.
There were a couple of those too.
Yeah. Something else that we really just completely missed on mentioning was the Stanford Florida State game. This ending sequence was wild.
Yeah. We didn't really get into that too much, and we should have.
Yeah, we should have. So this starts with about 7.5 minutes left. Florida State gets the ball down 20-13. They go 6 plays, 62 yards, and on 4th and 2 from Stanford's 14, they're going for it. Tommy Castellanos only gets 1 yard, turn it over on downs. Stanford then turns around and goes 3 and out. Florida State gets the ball back. They got about 3.5 minutes left from their own 39. They go 7 plays, 22 yards, and basically it's in this drive where Tommy Castellanos has a scramble where he just gets completely leveled and gets carted off, or taken off the field, and did not come back into this game. So Kevin Sperry ends up finishing this game at quarterback for Florida State, but they turn it over on downs again on 4th and 8 at Stanford's 39 with about 1.5 minutes left. Stanford then goes 3 and out, of course, and punts it back. And so Florida State still has about a minute. They go 7 plays, 79 yards, including after Kevin Sperry takes a sack with 30 seconds left, clock's running. They try to throw a pass. Basically, they got the clock stopped with 9 seconds left. They're on the 38-yard line on their own end of the field. They end up completing a pass to Mekhi Danzy down that gets them into scoring range at the Stanford 9. The clock's, it's stopped for the first down. Florida State has the wherewithal to line up. There's only 2 seconds on the clock. Kevin Sperry knows that you don't have time to spike it. So they run a play, throw it into the end zone. We got a penalty on Stanford for pass interference. So now we're going to have an untimed down that finishes this game. They they take a timeout, they talk it over, come out of the timeout. And what Florida State ends up deciding to do is basically run a shovel pass option that the officials said did not get into the end zone. Kind of looked like he got in the end zone on the broadcast.
Looked like it might have.
Yeah. And then, as fate would have it, there just weren't really enough camera angles at an ACC game late at night. I don't know what ESPN spends all the money on, but we'll talk to the ACC command center all day on ACC telecast, but we won't get enough cameras to actually give us a good angle of the play. Yeah. So they go in and they review it and decide that with the untimed down, now that the time had already expired, they come back from review, say, no, he did not get in, the game's over. And it was, look, Florida State was in that position to begin with. That's on them. But it was a sketchy end to that game for the officiating crew at the very least. But again, shout out to Stanford for getting that win. I mean, that's Stanford beat Florida State. How about that?
That's a hell of a way for a money line pick to come home, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
They don't draw pictures on the scorecard.
They
the scorecard. I mean, the ticket they cashed.
Yeah. We also had a follow-up. Producer Scott, I think you had this on. One of the things we talked about on the recap was, what does the CW stand for? And we actually got an answer on this. Do you have that in front of you somewhere?
I can get there if you filibuster for a second.
I'll start by saying that it was one of the more corporately influenced naming conventions I've heard. It was basically born out of a merger, I want to say. Not nearly as funny as when we call it the Cheeks W. So, for what that's worth.
Hold on. Almost there.
Still going.
Okay, keep filibustering. Keep filibustering.
Mike, did you have strong opinions on
Okay,
the CW
here we
network?
go. I found it. All right. So shout out Rangers King. Lovely Rangers King, I think our devoted SMU fan. Leaving this comment for prosperity. CW equals CBS plus Warner was a joint venture created by National Networks, UPN, CBS owned, and the WB, Warner owned, merging into one national network, the CW. It has since fallen into the hands of Nexstar, 75%, with CBS and Warner splitting the other quarter for now. Rangers King is in the know because I don't know what any of that means.
Yeah. Like I said, very corporate. Very corporate. Real quick, by the way, Dave Brown, Bourbon Hunter, our Louisville resident in the comments, mentions that Howard Schnellenberger's widow, Beverly, was at the game. And Schnelly coached with the Dolphins in 72.
The undefeated Dolphins?
Yep, the very same. He was Miami's head coach, I guess, from 79 to 83, and then Louisville's from 85 to 96. So pretty extensive history with both of those teams and towns. So again, shout out to Howard Schnellenberger.
Yep.
Mike, do we want to get into the email that you got from Kiefer as well?
Yeah, I got to pull that up, so might need to filibuster some more.
Long story short, our guy Kiefer Milligan over at From the Rumble Seat heard some of the musings about some of Georgia Tech's play calling. And that was specific. Was it the Virginia Tech game? I think maybe it was a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Some of the short yardage play calling, it seemed like they were running the same play over and over and over. And Kiefer went back and actually charted it. And the results I found were kind of interesting. In fact, that we were convinced this happened 6 or 7 times. And I think we only found like 3 instances or something like that, Mike.
Yeah, he talked about the play calling situation on 3rd and 4th down. He said, yes, pretty repetitive, but highly successful. There were 5 plays, 3 unique play calls, 4 quarterback runs, 1 play action off a fake quarterback run. And it was to the tune of an 80% success rate. So, yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
So we stand corrected, and it's backed up by a long email with plenty of data. So shout out Kiefer.
Yeah. He brought the receipts, to say the least.
He did. I responded pretty immediately. He actually, we had just recorded our preview last week, and went to bed, woke up the next morning, had the email account still open on my Gmail, and we received this email from him at like 1 a.m. And did a pretty good job kind of getting into that for us. So I responded right away and told him we appreciate it. This was really, really good stuff, and we try to touch on this. So thank you for remembering, because I did not.
Yeah, there you go. Shout out to Kiefer. Appreciate it. Appreciate the input we get from people all the time.
Him charting all of the plays is dedication. Yeah.
Well, Kiefer sure loves watching him some film. He gets in some of the nitty gritty sometimes. He's a good he's a ball knower, as the kids are saying these days.
Yes. Hard to dispute.
Unlike us, if you listen to most of the comments in our in the comment section, not the live comments, but the people that find the video 2 days later, they know that we don't know ball.
As long as they subscribe, don't care.
That's right.
Last
thing on week 8. Let's look at our locks from last week. Mike, you had Miami minus the 13.5. Goes without saying.
Yeah.
Also, UConn money line against Boston College.
Yeah, easy.
1-1 on the week, 8-12 on the year. I had Miami Louisville under 49.5. Cal North Carolina over 47.5. And as everyone likes to remember, Duke minus 1.5 against Georgia Tech. 1-2 on the week. I am 8-11 on the year. Producer Scott also
back on the board.
That's right. UConn money line, producer's pick of the week.
Bing.
3-5 on the year is the producer's pick of the week. So we all remain under 500, We'll get back. I swear.
We're scratching and clawing.
You could say that. On to week 9.
On to week 9. Let's do it.
Let's do it. We got 7 games to preview. All are just ACC conference games. So we have 14 ACC teams in action. We have Clemson, Duke, and Florida State on bye. As mentioned from our guy Volusia's Orange when he first jumped into the chat tonight, can't lose this week for his Clemson Tigers. So that's always a good week.
That's true. Can't lose the bye.
That's right. Well,
you could try.
I mean, North Carolina certainly did.
Man.
We have weeknight action. Let's start there. Friday night, tomorrow night, this is 7:30 on ESPN. The Cal Golden Bears on the road in Blacksburg taking on the Virginia Tech Hokies. Hokies a 6.5-point favorite at home. Totals 50.5. This line is going up. I think it opened at 3.5 or 4.5.
Why?
It's a good question.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I watched most of that Cal North Carolina game before falling asleep last Friday night. Watched most of it live. My one takeaway watching those two teams play is Virginia Tech, since starting ACC play, has not looked nearly that bad as those two teams did. Like they played poorly against Vanderbilt and Old Dominion, but since Montgomery took over as the interim, they have not looked as bad as Cal and North Carolina did last Friday night in league play. Just have not. So when I saw that Virginia Tech opened as a favorite here, I was not surprised. I don't know why it's moving in Virginia Tech's direction, but what I will tell you is I'm going to lay them with the Hokies. I think they win this football game. This is Virginia Tech's best opportunity for a win the rest of the way. The other one you can maybe point to is Virginia game aside. I don't think they're winning the Virginia game this year, but the Virginia game aside, just because of weird history between the two schools and Virginia Tech's dominance in that rivalry. The Florida State game is the only other one I can point to, but Virginia Tech is at such a talent disadvantage there that even like a quitting Florida State team, I feel like is going to have an advantage in that game still. This is Virginia Tech's best opportunity. Cal is the worst team remaining on the schedule. Virginia Tech, I think, has a better roster than Cal does, despite the two teams' records. Yeah, I'm laying with Virginia Tech, but more importantly, I am locking up the under. Under 50.5.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Please.
Two offenses that have struggled this year. Two defenses that I think if you're looking at both teams, that's the better of the two units on both sides. Friday night game. Let's get weird. Under 50.5.
Yep. For the record, this is 2-5 Virginia Tech, favored by almost a touchdown over 5-2 Cal, which I think tells us something. I think the movement of this line tells us something. Cal has not impressed me the last few weeks. I think those first 3 weeks of the year, they were more impressive to me. But basically, I mean, you got blanked by San Diego State. You struggled with a Boston College team that has not aged well. You got blown out by a pretty good Duke team, but you got blown out. And then you struggled with a pretty bad North Carolina team. So I'm not getting the warm fuzzies about Cal, and now them having to go across the country, play on a weeknight in Blacksburg against the Hokies. Hokies off a bye, right? Yeah. This says Virginia Tech to me. Is a good opportunity for the Hokies, kind of regroup, get a little bit healthier over the bye week, and should be able to move the ball here, I think, at least a little bit. I don't know that I love the prospect of JKS throwing into this Hokies defense, which has played decently for a lot of the year, I would say. I think, as much as I would talk about Cal's defense being solid, like I think the Hokies defense is probably better here. So I'm with you. Lamb with Virginia Tech. I also like the under. I just don't see Virginia Tech scoring a ton of points, and I do see them winning the game. So can this stay under 50.5? Absolutely. I am not going to lock it up yet, but we might come back and do that later.
The hesitation.
Boo.
Producer Scott has a new sound that he is itching.
We'll get around to it.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. All right, Virginia Tech and the under for the both of us. You've got the under locked up. Anything else here before we move on to Saturday?
We're good. Let's do it. Move on.
Let's do it. All right, Saturday, we got 6 games on the slate. We will start at noon on ESPN, where the Syracuse Orange are on the road in Atlanta, taking on my number 7 Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Jackets a 16.5-point favorite at home, totals 54.5. This is homecoming, so hopefully between the number 7 ranking, all that, even though it's a noon game, hopefully you're still getting a pretty good crowd there at Bobby Dodd Stadium. Go get your Mini 500 shirt at section103.com if you haven't already. You're going to need that for the homecoming game. You'll remember last year, this matchup up in Syracuse. This was a close game that Syracuse ends up pulling out. I believe it was 31-28. There was all of the strange, quote unquote, beef between Brent Key and Fran Brown going into this game, where Brent Key was wildly disrespectful, saying he's like, I'm not sure that I have ever met the guy or like know him all that well. And also somehow called his team soft, except he never actually said anything like that. Like, very taken out of context stuff that Fran Brown used to motivate his team, and it worked. So there's a piece of this with Syracuse not having been playing very well. I mean, obviously you go and play a top 10 team, you're going to give them your best shot. But I wonder if this is a spot where Georgia Tech makes it a point, or if they get a shot to punch an extra one in late, they might go for it. And kind of try to establish some dominance. They need to build some momentum too, I think, and make sure that they take care of business here over the back half of their ACC schedule. I think I'm laying them with Georgia Tech in this game. A lot of points.
It is a lot of points. Better you than me. I am on Syracuse. I think Georgia Tech wins by a couple scores. I think they win by, 13-ish, 10 to 13 points. I'm not too concerned about Georgia Tech losing this game here. But I am taking Syracuse. Syracuse's rushing defense the last 2 times out has looked better against SMU and Pitt. We're going to find out on Saturday if that's because of the opponents or if that's because they're starting to figure stuff out defensively a little bit against the run. They've had a couple of performances against better competition where the rushing defense has not necessarily shown well. They were okay against Tennessee in the opener. They were pretty bad against Clemson in a win, and they were really bad against Duke in that 38-3 loss against the run. Last 2 weeks, though, they've looked better. There's a bye in there. 2 out of the last 3 weeks, whatever. They've looked better last 2 times out against the run. Georgia Tech's favorite thing to do is running the ball. I think Syracuse's defense could potentially ugly this up a little bit. The offense for Syracuse has been playing awful. And I don't love lines have changed, Will. The lines have changed. Give me some credits. I also told Ricky on my tech pod that like I'm not being held to any of these on like a Monday night. Like what are we,
That's not canon on this show.
Yeah, I mean, 3 nights have been removed. 3 nights removed from that. What am I going to do? Lines change. Syracuse's offense has been pretty bad. Georgia Tech's defense has been just like okay, but could I see Syracuse scoring a couple times here and covering a big number? Yes, I can. So that's the impetus for me picking Syracuse here. Can't wait to hear from all the haters in the comments again, but I do think Georgia Tech wins this game by a couple touchdowns, so everybody can relax.
The people in the comments are more upset than I'm laying them. They want me to fade Georgia Tech because it's been going so well so far.
Yeah.
Nuke Jackie, you got to be careful saying this. His name's not JJ, as somebody in the comments told me last week.
Yeah, be careful.
People might call him that all the time, but if I were a Georgia Tech fan, I would know his real name, which, strange world. People are so mad. Will Secor reminding you that you picked Tech to cover when it was 17.5 and
changed my mind. Yeah. Changed my mind.
Got some closing line value here for Mike.
Yeah. Changed my mind.
I will mention as well, Syracuse, while the quality the last couple weeks has been a little rough, as we've said this before, they are playing hard. This is not a quit issue for them. They will play hard. I do worry a little bit about Ricky Collins and the mobility. Like Georgia Tech defensively, you've got to contain him, keep him in the pocket, not let him beat you with his legs. Especially somebody made a great point the other day I saw where it's like if he gets a few, gets running early and able to make a little bit of hay in the run game, that might build some confidence that then costs you down the road in the passing game. So we will see. I would hope that Georgia Tech is laser focused here and ready to come out and give a good effort. Next week at Raleigh before a bye week is a little bit treacherous, but I think for this week shouldn't be an issue, but we'll find out.
This would be a Brent Key game to lose.
Unfortunately, it would.
Yeah.
The history.
I don't see it. I don't see that happening just because, if this was like a Steve Angeli game, first of all, it wouldn't be a 16.5 point spread probably, but I could maybe like see this, but the Ricky Collins experience offensively so far has left a lot to be desired.
Yeah. Yeah. I will take the over here. I could see this getting a little bit pointsy either way.
I'm going to lean under because I think if I'm taking Syracuse to cover, I think their best path to doing so would be in an under game. Not that they couldn't in an over game, but I think the best path for that happening is probably in an under game.
Like a 31-17, something like that. We get you there.
Yep.
All right. Georgia Tech and the over for me, Syracuse and the under for Mike. Anything else before we move on here?
I just don't think Syracuse is going to score a ton, so I think it would have to be. I'm trying to talk myself into my under pick here.
Yeah. I like Nuke Jackets pick here of 38-17. I think that speaks to me of kind of how this might go. We'll find out.
Yep.
As a reminder, this preview and all of them brought to you by section103.com. Use promo code GOACC at checkout for 20% off or for 10% off your first order. Excuse me. You might want sweet polos like this one. Super comfortable, high quality, looks fantastic. You will look fantastic, golf course, work, church, wherever you are, wear it everywhere you want to go. Go get that homecoming shirt, the Mini 500 shirt. It's really sweet. They've got other t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, things for men, women, children, babies, something for the whole family. They've got hats. They've got stickers, things for LSU, Georgia Southern, Kennesaw State. They got all sorts of great things over at section103.com. Go check them out. Use promo code GOACC at checkout for 10% off your first order. Shout out to Steven and the gang. It's all, again, super high quality, looks fantastic. It's officially licensed, official word marks, official colors. Cannot recommend it enough, as you all know by now. Hopefully you've got some stuff from them and you know exactly what quality we're talking about.
You remember that comment we got one time on our, I think it was a review on Apple Podcasts saying we don't care about the Section 103 ad reads. We do, though.
Yeah.
We do.
Yep. It is worth it every time for us. So
it is.
Please go check them out and support Steven and what they're doing. It's they're growing the business well, and it's clear why, because they're doing a great job of it. So
yeah,
appreciate them as always. Good to move on.
Good.
Also at noon on the ACC network, the number 16 Virginia Cavaliers on the road in Chapel Hill, taking on the North Carolina Tar Heels. Virginia, a 10.5 point favorite on the road, totals 51.5. As we've mentioned, I mean, Virginia has gotten, I would say, at least a little bit lucky of kind of the way they've won a couple of these games lately. North Carolina looked like they might have a little bit more juice to them coming off their bye week. Again, they probably should have won at Cal last week. Dangerous spot for the Hoos here, Mike.
They got to play better than they have, right? Like Carolina should have beaten Cal.
Mm-hmm.
Like they should have won that game. That's the best they've looked all year, the most competent they've looked. Virginia's been kind of fumbling around a little bit. They should have lost their game last week against Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
I have trouble. First of all, I don't have a very good read on this game. I think Virginia wins. Like I think Virginia's a better team. I think they win the game. I don't have a very good read on this from a spread standpoint, just because I don't know if what we saw out of these two teams last week was more of an aberration or kind of what we're going to see the rest of the year, right? Like, was Carolina coming out of the bye, like, was that kind of like a good reset for them? Obviously, that bye week was very off-field, weird stuff going on, but like they looked the most competent they've looked all year in that game. So like, did that bye week provide a reset where they'll be at least kind of feisty on the rest of their schedule that's not very good. Like where they could maybe steal a win in a game like this. Like I don't think they're beating Virginia because I think Virginia is better, but could they cover? I mean, I could be talked into it. Like I'm not all that confident watching Virginia like go out there and laying a double-digit spread on the road with how they've been playing either. So from that standpoint, to me, it's kind of coin flippy. I think I'm just gonna take the points here with Carolina at home, and we'll get some validation, I think, either way coming out of this game of kind of what these two teams are and kind of where they're at measuring stick wise heading into November.
I'm tempted to take the points here too. Like, I don't think I will. I think North Carolina keeping it close and potentially even beating Cal last week was probably more a function of what Cal is or is not. If North Carolina is like noticeably improved, I need to see it again. Like you got
I agree.
They've looked so bad for most of this year that I'm skeptical that they've all of a sudden turned it around. And I do think that Virginia's ability to score is way better than what Cal has right now at quarterback. I mean, quarterback aside, like Cal is a bit struggling for weapons around him that I think is causing some of the issues for them on offense. I don't like laying 10.5 on the road, but I think I'm going to do it in this case. It doesn't feel good. This feels like it could be a spot where North Carolina finds a way to kind of muddy it up and drag the whole thing down for a while. But I'm going to have some faith in Chandler Morris and have some faith in that Virginia offense that they can get some margin here. I'll lay the 10.5 with the Hoos. Total's 51.5. I think I'm going to go under there. I could see this being like 35-10 or something where I think Carolina's offense is probably improving at least a little bit, but I don't know. Again, even against an like kind of decent average Virginia defense, like I don't know that they'll be able to do a whole lot. So yeah, I'll take the under here.
I based on picking Carolina, I think I have to take the under because the assumption is that the defense is figuring things out a little bit.
They're not getting into a shootout and winning.
Right. No. I mean, not with the offense that we've seen this year. I mean, the offense didn't even look that good against Cal, right? Like, did they look a little bit better? Yeah, but they're not world beaters offensively still, obviously. Yeah. I came out of the game much more impressed with what UNC did defensively. Now, granted, Carolina should have scored at the end of the game, right? You fumble out of the end zone by the goal line for a touchback, and then you fumble on your opening drive, and that's how Cal scored, their first touchdown. So, I come out of that game still more impressed with Carolina's defense, I think. But that, again, could be more of a function of Cal's offense at this point in time, which I think we'll get answers to that Friday night with the Virginia Tech game.
Yeah. But I think either way, I mean, we're still on the same page thinking that Virginia wins this game.
Yeah, I think so. I'm more just coin flippy on the spread and like what the end result's going to be here in terms of how much Virginia wins by.
Yeah. I'm like thinking that Virginia probably trips up somewhere down the stretch. It's a little tough to maybe, pick where that would be, but they've got this game. They're at Cal, and then they've got a stretch to close out the season that I think they could lose any one of their final 3 games, Wake Forest, at Duke, and Virginia Tech. Like I could come up with a good argument that they would lose any of those games. So we'll see. I think that they win here though, and keep it rolling, probably get into the top 15 if I had to guess. But we will see by what margin. So Virginia for me, Mike's got Carolina in the points, but obviously has Virginia winning. We both have the under in this game. Anything else before we move on?
This would be a bad one for Elliott to lose with all the momentum he's gotten this year. This would be a tough one.
Yeah. That would potentially just derail the whole thing if I had to venture.
You hate to see it, but at the same time, you'd love to see it.
I certainly would.
Yeah.
Well,
would be hilarious.
Virginia's awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
Loop it, baby.
Quick reminder. All right. We will keep it moving here. Also at noon on the CW, the Cheeks W, I prefer personally, but SMU, the Mustangs on the road in Winston-Salem, taking on the Wake Forest Steeman Deeks. Mustangs a small 2.5-point favorite here. Total's 53.5. Mike, this does feel like a bit of a treacherous spot for SMU in this game.
It does. Kevin Jennings is a little bit banged up too.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like he's going to play, so we'll see. So, what do we think of SMU beating Clemson the way that they did last week? Like, are they seeing that as, oh my God, that was a gigantic win? I mean, they probably are viewing it that way because of how the ACC title game went, but like, this is a totally different Clemson team this year in terms of like on-field product.
Well, and with their backup quarterback and everything, right? I mean,
yeah. So like, are they viewing it a little bit differently because they didn't see Klubnik last week and they ended up winning that game relatively easily? Like, is this really I guess my question is this really a letdown spot relative to what I guess it could have been if Klubnik played and Clemson was better? Like, probably not.
Mm-hmm.
I think the line is as short as it is because there are questions about Jennings' health. I think SMU is the better team here. I'm going to lay them with the Mustangs. I think they're better. Wake's feisty, though.
Mm-hmm.
Would not shock me if they stepped up and won this game. But I do think SMU's better. I think they're playing well. They're playing their best football of the year. This would be one where you're going on the road, nooner, sleepy start, CW underdog situation, right? You can't discount that for sure. But yeah, I think SMU's a better team. I think they win the game.
Mike, it wasn't North Carolina, so you know what that makes Wake Forest this week.
There
Home
are
dogs of the
home field
week.
apparel home dog of the week.
The home apparel, home CW underdogs of the week. That's right. Go to homefieldapparel.com and use promo code GOACC24 at checkout for 15% off your first order at homefieldapparel.com. Highly recommended. Lots of really cool vintage apparel, high quality, feels great. You'll love it. Rangers King makes an interesting point in the comments, about basically better not have a stinker like the Duke game last year. I don't know if I would call it a stinker. Like, again, I think that a lot of the metrics would back up what we've been saying this year about SMU kind of having taken like a half a step back after last year. Something's just not clicking the way that it was a year ago. And this is, as you mentioned, Mike, I don't know that I would call it a letdown spot because, again, I don't know that I saw SMU celebrating like they just pulled an upset. I mean,
right.
The spread says that they did, but like their body language and the way that they treated that game didn't really seem like they did. But it is a second straight road game. It is Wake. They beat the brakes off of Oregon State last week, right? They're not off a bye.
2 weeks ago. Oregon
Are
State.
they off a bye?
Oregon State was in my fun Sickos Pat League pick last week.
That's right. So yeah, Wake off a bye. SMU on the road for a second straight week here. Nooner in Winston-Salem. I like Wake Forest here. I think Wake Forest might give SMU their first ACC loss ever, frankly.
Man.
I like the Deeks. They have been plucky. As mentioned, I mean, the passing game isn't like a well-oiled machine, but it seems like it's effective at times enough to get some explosive plays in there. I like the Deeks in this spot. Give me Wake Forest plus the 2.5. Home field apparel, home CW underdogs of the week. So many principles at play here.
This feels like a trappy line. I don't know.
A little bit.
We'll find out which direction.
Totals 53.5. Over? Not really in the business of SMU unders a lot of times, I don't feel like.
And I don't think. I think Wake and SMU they could win this game. Both teams could win this game in over game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I lean over too because Wake's been kind of weirdly explosive offensively too, in the passing game especially, and Kevin Jennings has been very good this year. So
Yeah.
They can rattle off some explosives for sure.
Yeah. Rangers King. The letdown is that if we win this game, could maybe get game day with Halloween homecoming against Miami. That would be a scene.
Yeah.
Or if you lose, it's noon on the CW. Not that there's anything wrong with that. This is noon on the CW.
No, because then I'll just be on SMU again next week. I'll just pick SMU in the underdog spot.
Exactly. All right. Wake in the over for me, SMU and the over for Mike. Anything else before we move on here?
Nope, we're good.
Keep waiting on Scott to press his button. Haven't gotten there yet.
No. You will wait.
Fair enough. Let's move to 3:30 on the ACC network, where the NC State Wolfpack on the road in Pittsburgh taking on the Panthers. Panthers a 6.5-point home favorite here. Total's 54.5. NC State off a bye. I'm trying to remember that. I'm trying to keep up with 17 teams bye schedules when they all have 2 byes. And Notre Dame, was that last week or 2 weeks ago? I can't remember.
I think you're right.
NC State's off a bye.
Okay, yeah. Notre Dame had USC last week. So, yeah. NC State off a bye. Pitt had an odd showing last week, it felt like.
They did.
Memory serves.
They did. They took a while to pull away. It was a crock-potting situation against Syracuse.
That's right. 6.5, not a ton of points. I feel like I'm waiting on – I feel like NC State is going to take a step forward here at some point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm wondering about taking the Wolfpack here, but I also recognize that Pitt, if things start clicking, they could also just blow NC State out of the water here.
Yeah. What are the chances that NC State can run on Pitt's defense? I think they can. I think we could get a Hollywood Smother situation where they can get some stuff going in the run game on the road. This game would scare me. Pickle chips in the comments. Tell the Pitt this one scares me. I think it should.
Rolling out random students on defense.
Not great. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, Pitt's defense obviously looked pretty good last week against Syracuse because that Syracuse offense is a sight to behold and not in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think there might be a path here for NC State being able to run the ball and keeping this game pretty close. I am on NC State plus the 6.5. I think there is a chance that NC State could win this game. I'm going to take Pitt to win close. I think NC State covers, makes this interesting. I think they're due to play a better game, Joey, like you mentioned. I think that's right on the money. That was kind of my thinking coming into this as well. And I just think I think they're going to have an opportunity to run the ball well here.
I don't like it, but I think I'm going to lay him with Pittsburgh. I think the biggest thing I'm thinking about is a Pat Narduzzi defense. You're right. There's a chance that NC State finds some joy in the run game here and is able to move the ball that way. But I can't help but feel like Narduzzi is going to run some stuff on defense that makes CJ Bailey really uncomfortable. Yeah. And I don't know how he's going to deal with pressure and blitzing and the way that Pitt likes to play defense. So I think I'm going to lay him with Pittsburgh so they win this by at least a touchdown. But, I think we're on the same page expecting that at some point NC State's going to take a step forward. Coming out of a bye week would make sense. So this is a good opportunity for them, I think. But I think at Jimmy Mack in the comments also just makes probably the right point here is I don't really – it feels dangerous trying to pick either team here.
I agree.
A bit of a who the hell knows kind of situation.
Yep.
Total's 54.5. That's also a Vegas who the hell knows kind of line that we've seen in a lot of these games. I mean, totals 50.5, 54.5, 51.5, 53.5, 54.5. Like Vegas not taking sides on that either. So
yeah,
give me Pitt. I guess give me the over. I don't know. That also just feels like a slot machine situation. Like I don't know.
Under game for me.
That's fair.
Who knows?
I'm just making some really square picks tonight. I feel like
You and I are disagreeing
You
a
certainly
lot.
are.
We're disagreeing a lot this evening, which
Yeah.
is not,
Ooh.
which by the way is not something we do regularly, is disagree a lot. It makes for a good podcast when we just agree with each other all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Really, the only thing we can disagree with is the comments.
That's
Not
right.
even the live comments. You guys have been great. Just the YouTube comments after the fact.
Yeah.
The our usual crowd live. I don't have a good feel for a lot of these this week, truthfully, except for a couple coming up.
Oh,
A
I
lot
got a
of good
feel.
lines.
Scott's got a feel.
Scott's ready to go.
Scott's raring to go.
You got to
Sean.
get there. We're almost there.
All right, Pitt and the over for me, NC State and the under for Mike. Yeah, if you want to know how we feel about these games, we're 5 out of 7 games in. We've got a combined 1 lock so far. There's only one thing I've really significantly considered locking up even. So, yeah, weird week for making picks on these games, I would say. All right, we'll move into the evening window at 7 o'clock on ESPN. The Stanford Cardinal are on the road in South Beach, taking on, Coral Gables or Miami Gardens or wherever the hell. Taking on the number 9 Miami Hurricanes. Miami is a scant 30.5 point favorite in this game. Totals 45.5. We noted before we came on here that at least ESPN Bet is not offering a money line price on Stanford. It's just off the board. Like it's not an option.
Sometimes it shows up on game day when it does that this early in the week, I will say.
Yeah.
But yes, it is off the board right now.
That is a little bit telling for where this is at right now. There's a piece of me, if I'm being really honest, there's a piece of me that kind of wants to take Stanford with the points just because it is so many points.
Mike's about to do something reckless.
And because Miami, at least so far this season, they haven't scored that much. Like they take their foot off the accelerator once they get up big, and they'll put that thing in neutral and just coast to the end of the game. So that's all tempting, but also I could easily see Miami trying to prove a point after what we saw last week.
So
do it, Mike.
This wasn't previously planned coming in. Scott, can we get some music?
Which one?
We need something that would be a precursor for a segment in a couple minutes. I don't care. I'm the Sickos. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because Joey, you mentioned a couple things that were very in line. We just talked about how we weren't really agreeing on a lot of stuff tonight. Just kind of went into that. There were a lot of things you just mentioned there. Number one, Stanford looked pretty good last week. Number two, Miami has just been kind of sitting on teams, and they have decided they're not going to pull away. They're pretty good with just getting a big lead and just getting out of there. See the Florida State game, for example. This is certainly my sickest ACC pick of the year. Stanford plus 30.5. We're locking it up.
Yeah.
No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Please.
Mike, call the hotline.
I know when that hotline bling.
Scott was very ready for this. By the way,
This is a half unit. This is a half unit situation.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
We did get an update from Thamel a little while ago that Ben Goldbranson's supposed to play in this game. So
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's in. He's in here. Yeah, he's in after
Less
last week.
severe than expected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I say left last week's game, did not return, but supposedly good to go for this one. We'll see how that goes. Mike,
Didn't need him last week. Didn't need him.
That's true. That's true. I cannot in good faith let you lock up Stanford and then go picking Miami to cover 30.5 here. So I will also be on Stanford here. I'm trying to like. There's a piece of me that's a little bit more interested in the total here. That's 45.5. Like Miami's going to score probably like 31 points here if I had to guess. Like probably right at 31 and then park it and go home. The problem is that Stanford's going to score like 13 and it'll come in under that number. So
you're right.
That could be a little gross. But it would get you home, wouldn't it? So
it would. It absolutely would.
Yeah. I'll just take a swing and say
take me home.
There you go.
There's a banger.
We haven't agreed a whole lot tonight, but I think we agree on this. Producer Scott, can you lock up Stanford plus 30.5 in this spot for me?
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Please.
Double barrel.
Hey, there it is. Producer Scott in the lab.
You guys are gross.
Yeah, I don't. This is not going to end well, but you know.
No, it's going to end very poorly.
But it'll be fun. Stanford in the over for me.
Yeah. I think it's got to be. Otherwise, we're really pulling for Miami to score like 31 points.
Mm-hmm. The chat is telling us we need to talk about Miami's uniforms, which came out this afternoon, which I thought that was like what Arkansas was going to be wearing this weekend. It's heavy camo uniforms. They're a little suspicious. They're a little suspect in what they look like.
Are they that bad? I didn't see them.
Let's see if we can find them real quick here.
I'm gonna look at them. Oh wait, I'm on Miami of Ohio. Oh, that's not good. That's not it.
Oh, look, first thing that came up on Twitter when I opened it. Here, I'll send you the link in the private chat, Scott.
Oh, I'm gonna find it probably faster, but it's okay. Is it on their Twitter? Oh, what is this?
That's what I'm saying.
That's bad.
Hold on.
Yeah,
I'm
Can you put that on the screen?
For those listening on audio, I'm gonna show the audience here what this is.
Yeah. I mean, they're not Army. What are they doing?
What is this?
I don't. I mean, I know
why?
that like Miami in the '80s had sometimes like they'd wear camo on the plane or whatever going places, but
Are they trying to honor the Bay of Pigs? What the hell is this?
Great Bay of Pigs reference. My God,
Yeah.
Joey, you said Arkansas is wearing similar jerseys.
Why do we have Dick Bulge in this photo? What the hell?
Arkansas is not wearing similar jerseys, but like they're the ones that are obsessed with hunting season and stuff like that. Like
I was gonna say, Bobby Petrino would probably throw this on to hide in the woods after a motorcycle crash.
Well, that's
Sam Pittman got fired 2 weeks too early. Like,
that's strange. That's just strange.
yeah, a little bit odd.
Yeah.
A little bit odd. Military appreciation camo, according to Will Sikor. I thought that usually was like in November, but maybe different people do it at different times.
Well, we can appreciate the military without looking like absolute dog shit.
Scott on a heater.
I agree. We agree.
Stanford plus the 30.5 for both of us and the over.
What are we doing?
What could possibly go wrong?
What are we doing?
You guys are disgusting.
It's not even. We're not even in a Sickos segment yet.
I know.
Yeah. It's going to get worse.
And I have some gross ones tonight, and this one is up there.
7:30 on the ACC network. Last one, the Boston College Eagles on the road in Louisville, taking on the number 19 Cardinals, who are a 25.5 point favorite here. Totals 54.5. A bit of a name your score situation for Louisville, but also kind of a letdown spot. Don't bet this game. I don't think. Like,
no.
Stay away from this.
I'm gonna.
Oh,
No.
Scott, give us some sound. There we go.
Under 54.5.
Nice.
I like that pick.
Producers pick of the week. Best unit in the game is Louisville's defense.
True.
The worst unit in the game is Boston College's offense.
Ooh, good point. What's the Boston College team total here?
Oh, I can get that for you.
I can find that for you as well.
27.
But as he does that, I'll explain it further.
40 to
Louisville.
14.
Louisville, best unit is their defense on the field. Worst unit is Boston College's offense. I just don't see a lot of points being scored in this game. Wasn't comfortable with the 25.5 point spread, but under 54.5, I think we can get home with the producers' pick of the week.
We have a 13.5 team total for Boston College.
I was hoping for 14.5. But yeah,
I mean,
that's the way I'd probably attack this is Boston College team total under.
Yeah.
I would agree. I'm laying them with Louisville here. There's just too much quit with BC. And they're just not really doing anything well right now. The thing that scares me, I like the under here as well. The thing that kind of precludes me from locking this up is that I am afraid of because of how good Louisville's defense has been, I am afraid of a defensive score pushing this thing over. That's what would scare me a little bit. But I think if I had a lean here, it's certainly to the under, and I don't mind the pick at all, Scott.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's entirely possible that Louisville could win this game like 49-6 and the over still gets there. Like there's,
God.
with the effort that we've seen
Tell
from Boston
Scott
College, I don't think that Louisville has that call off the dogs button that they go to as quick as Miami and others do. So that's where I get a little worried about the under here is at what point does Jeff Brom say enough? And I don't know. They might wait a little bit longer. That's why I like the Boston College team total under is I do think Louisville's defense will smother them in this game.
Can we get a Colin Lacey return score here too?
Ooh.
Like, could that be in play?
Yeah.
He's been one of the best specialists in the country this year. Like, could that be in play?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The one thing I don't know about, right, is, and I don't think Boston College is scoring much here. The one thing I don't know about though is if Louisville gets into obvious passing downs, like Miller Moss is 1,000% going to be successful here, right? Like we gotta trust Miller Moss.
He better be.
He better be. Like this is the one where this is kind of your layup.
Yeah. Dave Brown, Bourbon Hunter, Deuce Adams in the second half, maybe playing quarterback. Wouldn't put it past him.
This should be a blowout. I mean, this would be very surprising if BC made this competitive with how bad they've looked. This would be haunting for Louisville if this game is close in the second half.
I would say you got to avoid any sort of letdown nonsense after last week's game, but I tend to think that they will, but I could see a path and understand how and why it's like late in the third quarter and why are we only up by 4? Like you got to make sure that you get full effort in this game, but we'll see. Louisville on the under for me. I'll join Scott on the under there.
Yep.
Let's go.
I'm there.
All right. Louisville on the under for both Mike and I, and producer's pick of the week locked up as the under 54.5 in this game. That's all I've got on week 9 games. We want to recap some locks here real quick.
Let's do it.
Mike, you have under 50.5 in Cal, Virginia Tech tomorrow night. We both have Stanford plus the 30.5 in Miami on Saturday night. And then producer's pick of the week under 54.5 for Boston College, Louisville. Can I get a ruling from the jury here on, am I allowed to get out of here with only one lock?
Nope. I am the jury and the judge and the executioner, and I say no.
I am reckless the other direction with having too many locks sometimes. So I cannot, in good faith, let you lock only one game up.
2 is the minimum. Pick one.
Well, I really like that new button, Scott. So let's hit that. I'll join Mike on the under 50.5 tomorrow night.
Under 50.5?
In Cal, Virginia Tech. Yep.
Oh, all right. So which button do you want?
We've got so many of them. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do this one.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Please.
And then
Double barrel.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So good. All right. That's week 9. Those are your locks. Anything else before we get out of here? I think I'm out of content for tonight. Oh dear.
I don't care. I'm Sickos.
Sickos picks of the week. We had I had a decent week last week. Let's start with Mike. Mike had Charlotte team total under 17.5 and Lafayette plus 22.5.
Just decided they weren't going to play football in the second half. That was horrible.
That was like a one-score game at halftime, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
The second half was a disaster for me.
Mike, 4-8 on the year in Sickos picks of the week. I had Army Tulane under 45.5 and Purdue Northwestern under 47.5. I'm 6-2, fellas.
Yeah, it's pretty
All
good.
right. Although I will say, Joey, I think some of your picks haven't been the sickest they could be.
That's fair. I'll allow that.
But I'll give it to you.
Picks are picks, but also
Hey, 6-2 against the spread. Yeah.
It's time to start giving some of that back, I figure. Scott might be just a little bit bitter because he had Rutgers first quarter plus 5.5.
It was so close.
That was a tough
it was
one.
so close.
That was a tough one. We were getting some live text during that.
Rutgers was driving to make it 14-10, and they threw an interception in the end zone or near the end zone, and I was just so sad. I was just like, no, I'm getting first quarter tilted on Big Ten action, and then they got absolutely pummeled, like 50 to something.
Yeah, they got smoked. Yeah,
pretty bad.
Yeah.
Scott also had UMass team total under 10.5.
Man, best scoring output of the season for the Minutemen. Still lost.
They're so bad.
Mike, why don't you tell them how they lost?
UMass was leading Buffalo with less than a minute to play. UMass intercepts the Buffalo quarterback. But it's very important to note here, Buffalo had all three of their timeouts remaining. So UMass picks this ball off. There's like 40 seconds left. They go 3 and out. They punt.
Wasn't there also a celebration penalty on the interception?
There was a celebration penalty on the interception, which that's a very good point. Thank you very much. Celebration penalty on the interception. It backed them up deep in their own territory. They go 3 and out. They punt. Decent return. And Buffalo scores as time expires. They kick the game-winning field goal to beat UMass. That was UMass's best opportunity to pick up a win. And they still somehow have not fired their coach. I couldn't believe they hadn't fired their coach yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was supposed to be Bloody Sunday, you'll remember, and we couldn't even get a UMass firing. We got a Norvell, and it wasn't even the right one.
Say Bloody Sunday barely required a Band-Aid.
Yeah, wrong G6 school.
Yeah. All right. Mike, Scott, which one of you guys want to kick us off while I figure out what I'm going to pick?
Scott, why don't you go first this evening?
All right, I'll get this going. Okay. I have 2 this week. One that I think is a little bit sicker than the other one, so I'll save that for later. I texted the gentleman here and I said, boys, I have a money line Sickos that might make you cringe. And we're going to travel into the lovely conference that means more, the SEC. And Kentucky is hosting Tennessee
and
the Volunteers. And they are 8.5-point dogs.
Wow.
I think Alabama beats Tennessee twice.
Oh, baby.
Kentucky just took Texas to overtime. They're going to be feeling a little, pissed off after how that came out. Kentucky beats Tennessee in Lexington this weekend. Now, if you think, Scott, I think you're full of crap. You'd be right most of the time. I even checked Winsipedia. When they play in Lexington over the past about 10, 15 years, it's been very close. It's been within a touchdown. And they've won, I think, 1 game of those straight up. So I'm taking Kentucky on the money line as a Sickos pick of the week to beat Tennessee.
You know, I looked at Kentucky spread, didn't pull the trigger.
Did I talk you into it, Mike?
I just for solidarity purposes, I may just need to join you. I don't know if I could, pulling the trigger on the money line. Now, Kentucky played well last week, by the way. Like,
Right.
Kentucky
That's
looked
what I'm
pretty-
saying.
Yeah, Kentucky looked pretty good. I don't hate it.
All right. So if you didn't think you'd get that sick, we're going to go to the Fun Belt, gentlemen. We're going to go down to the Fun Belt. Louisiana Monroe is taking on Southern Mississippi. And that is in Mississippi because I
Hattiesburg?
cannot.
Hattiesburg. Yep.
Yes, Hattiesburg. They are 12.5-point dogs to Southern Mississippi. And you might think that's a lot of points for Louisiana Monroe. But do you guys know how bad Louisiana Monroe is?
Yeah, I had him against Coastal a couple weeks ago in Sickos picks, and they did not get there at all.
Correct. So I'm going to read some stats for you. Louisiana Monroe overall offense, 116th in the FBS. Passing offense, 126th. Rushing, 56th. Points per game, 131st. Their average points per game this season is 16.7. So you know where I'm going with that, gentlemen. We're going team total, Louisiana Monroe, under 17.5 plus money.
Wow.
Plus money. The
Nice
implied
find.
the implied score right now is 31-18. So we got that 1 point little margin there. I think we can get there, gentlemen. Louisiana Monroe team total under 17.5 for Southern.
Hell
Mississippi.
yeah.
I like it. I like it. At plus money too. That's good.
Yep.
Sorry. Under 17.5. And you were also on Kentucky money line. Let's go. All right.
Kentucky money line's a good one.
Mike, you wanted to go on?
I'm ready. So I mean, if you are you still looking?
Yeah, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I'll go ahead. Okay. We're gonna go to the American for the first one. I have 3 tonight. Not all from the American.
Are you going back to Charlotte? Well,
Well, I do have a bet in that game too. But it's not really that sick. For inquiring minds, I have North Texas team total over 43.5 in that game. So yes, I am going back to Charlotte. Well, but not specifically for Sickos because I'm not betting on Charlotte. I'm betting on North Texas. Tulsa's at home against Temple. This is a game that nobody should watch. Like 2 pretty bad teams.
Tickets as low as $6.
Yes.
it's on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, it's an ESPN Plus game, so like you really got to go find it. Give me Tulsa plus 5.5 at home. I mean,
Nice.
Home dogs.
these are two comparable teams, and I'm getting home dogs catching almost a touchdown. Yeah, give me Tulsa plus 5.5. Let's go to the MAC. We're almost there, boys. We're almost there. Weeknight
Ooh, the
MAC.
Mac.
We're almost there. Northern Illinois is really more spiritually MAC after this year, but whatever. Ball State is traveling to Northern Illinois. Ball State's really bad. I mean, these 2 teams are atrocious on offense. I mean, really, really bad offensively. We're going to go under 42.5 in Ball State, Northern Illinois.
In DeKalb.
Yes, DeKalb. And I'll definitely be watching that game too, for sure. I got one more for you. UCLA is traveling to Bloomington. The Hoosiers are laying 25.5.
I almost did this one.
They are they're going to win that one comfortably, I think. I don't know if they'll cover. It's a big number. The one thing I do know about watching UCLA is the Tim Skipper, Jerry Neuheisel led Bruins are a little feisty. A little feisty. I don't think there's going to be a lot of quitting them, especially in the fourth quarter. Give me UCLA plus 6.5 fourth quarter in Bloomington.
You and these fourth quarter lines.
They've been successful for me so far.
They have been.
One of these teams is supposed to be smoking them through the filters in the fourth quarter. If you know, you know. But
Through the filters.
that's Indiana.
And there's one more that's not a Sickos pick, I don't think, but it's I think an ugly Big Ten total. So just handing it out for our friends in the chat tonight, and you guys as well. Northwestern's traveling to Nebraska. I'm on the under in that game as well, under 44.5.
I like that one too.
The only way I could see that getting squirrely is if Dylan Raiola has a little bit more success against Northwestern's passing defense than I think he will. But I think that game goes over. I think Northwestern has a chance to win that game, by the way. Like, they could ugly that up.
Mm-hmm.
They've been quietly competent. So keep an eye on that. If you want to sprinkle something money line, that would not shock me, especially with the Matt Rule rumors last few weeks and how bad Nebraska looked last week against Minnesota. Yeah.
All right. Let's start close to home. I'm going to stay right here in Houston, Texas.
Oh boy.
Where the UConn Huskies are on the road taking on the Rice Owls.
Oh God.
Oh, man.
Rice is not very good.
Correct.
But most importantly, they are slow. They play slow. They play low scoring, low possession games. UConn traveling quite a ways. I think that Rice can find a way to muddy this one up, keep it low scoring. Total here is 49.5. Give me under 49.5 in UConn and Rice.
I like it.
Rice also might not score very much at all.
I like it.
How are we doing Sickos wise, Scott? Is that
That's better.
That's in the neighborhood.
fair enough? Okay. Other Sickos lock of the week. Let's go to the MAC.
Yes.
Actually, let's kind of go to the MAC. Let's also go to the Pac-12 as Toledo is on the Palouse taking on the Washington State Cougars.
No.
Yeah, this
Oh, no.
qualifies. Yeah, this qualifies.
like
you're
this
the
one.
ballpark tonight, baby. Let's do it.
We have seen Wazoo the last couple of weeks nearly beat Virginia after nearly beating Ole Miss. And now they are at home, a 1.5 point underdog to a Toledo team that is
Home dogs.
volatile. This Toledo team has
To put it lightly.
they have a decent ceiling, but buddy, they will just totally crap their pants every so often. So I don't know. I don't think Wazoo deserves to be an underdog here. Give me Wazoo plus 1.5 or plus 105 on the money line. I think the Cougs get it done at home after a couple of long road trips against an iffy Toledo team.
Awesome.
The Joey, very good.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. See,
Very
I got this. I can do it.
Nobody wants to point out that game is on the CW.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
CW underdogs all day long.
Awesome.
Hell yeah. Those are Sickos picks of the week.
Good job tonight, guys. Those were good. Those were disgusting.
Yeah.
That works.
Kentucky money line is
That's
a
ballsy.
good pick. I think a good pick.
Mhm.
I think a chance to be really good. Yeah.
What's the hang on.
These are college kids.
The
Weird crap
number-
happens.
Get plus 250 on the money
Yeah.
line there.
That's so I'm like, there's some value in that.
Yeah.
Look, if we miss, we miss. At least we try.
That's right. That's right. It's about taking swings. That's what we got to do.
Hey, we swung on Stanford last week. That cashed. Let's
Yeah.
go.
That's true. That's true.
I was listening to Cover 3 this afternoon, and they handed out Florida Atlantic plus 500 on the money line in Annapolis against Navy, which is a disgusting pick.
I'm pretty sure my Blue Hens, beat Florida Atlantic like a week or a month ago. I'm pretty sure.
Roll.
Or it was close. I forget.
Navy laying 14.5. That would be a tough game to lose.
That would be tough. Yeah, that'd be tough for my Navy to win the American future.
Yeah.
That is still in play.
I saw Bud also took Syracuse plus 650 or something in Atlanta.
Better him than me.
It's a lot of faith, but hey, stranger things have happened. As Will Secor has noted, I probably locked that up somewhere, but
Yeah.
not on this show. That's all I got on week 9. Anything else before we get out of here?
Fun show, guys.
That's right.
Fun
Tight
shit.
75 minutes.
Better than the recap. last week.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Let's go watch some games, and we'll come back and recap them. We're all just calling it Sunday night at this point, right? It's just
It'll be Sunday. Yeah,
it'll be Sunday. Sounds good. All right. we will talk to y'all then. Make sure you hit the subscribe button here at youtube.com/@the-ACC Football Podcast. If you haven't already, hit the bell icon. You'll be notified when we're going to go live on Sunday. Hit the like button on this here show. That would be really appreciated.
Yes,
Would be very helpful
please.
for us.
Yes, please.
We're on Twitter at FTRS Joey, at Mike McDaniel SI, together at BC Podcast ACC. Basketball Conference Podcast at gmail.com is the email address.
Nailed it.
Thank you. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, whatever you go find your audio podcast, go find us there as well. Anything else?
Nope. We're good.
You all want to go watch some games so we can come back and recap them?
We do.
Friday nighter for
People
the
in the
Hopes.
chat being jerks, and we'll see you Monday. No, Sunday.
What the hell, guys? Kidding me? What? You guys been listening to us for a while or something? Like,
Yeah.
It will be Sunday. It'll
They
be
know
Sunday.
us better than we know ourselves.
It'll be Sunday.
That's right. It'll be Sunday.
We've been consistent with that. The previews, we'll let you know, but the recaps we've been pretty consistent. Yeah.
We were discussing prior to coming on live that there is going to be a weekend here in a couple of weeks that might get a little bit wonky schedule wise and or lineup wise, but we will let you know when we get there. So stay tuned.
Yes.
Mike, Scott, enjoyed it. You want to watch some games, come back and recap them?
We do.
We're going to be all over the map this week with these picks. So somebody's going to be, especially with the first 5 games we picked tonight.
That's right. That's right. All right. For that guy, Mr. Mike McDaniel, for Mr. Producer Scott, I'm Joey Weaver. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will talk to you again very, very soon. Enjoy the games. And until next time, go ACC.